Actually the best.
It's always exciting, do I say intriguing, waking up and seeing the spotlight that you need to catch up with and basically looking at how to do this. Well, that's why we're here. I want to say a big morning to you and great to have you join us on this morning on ITV. My name is Philip Omogyupo. Well, you should expect that we've got great personalities, you know, to look into issues of today, looking at the discussions and all of that. But I'm not alone on this. From the Benin Network Center, I've got at my immediate left, they say ladies first.
Of course.
I have an Oluwapo Stevens. Good morning.
Good morning, Philip. Good to see you, as always.
You look radiant.
Thank you so much. You look good too. I love your outfit.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, close to Anna, we've got Lawrence Osifo. You got a big bite this morning.
Yeah, don't mind my voice anyway. All of us are trying to grapple with this whole Qatar and cough kind of. We'll go.
Really?
Happy New Month to you guys. I think
Happy
this is the
New
first time
Month.
we're seeing
Yeah,
for
it
the
is.
month on Sect. On Sunday, we were here together. Monday, some of us were here, some of us were here. So happy New Month, guys.
Thank you very much.
to
That
see you.
reminds me, the month of marching forward.
Yeah, for us that were born in the month of March.
Oh, it's your birthday.
I can see
This is
that.
my birth month on the 6th, actually.
I can see that.
In 3 days' time.
Wow.
So,
Happy birthday in advance.
thank you.
How
Thank
old would you
guys.
be?
How old would I be? Is a personal issue.
I wasn't expecting you to respond by the way, but hey.
And apart from that, I hope you know it's not just to say that your birthday is forthcoming.
Yeah.
You have to prepare ground.
There are
There are more
implications. There are implications.
Like someone would say.
We do the implication later on. But for
course.
now, let's just leave it the way it is.
All right. Well, good to know that at least we have some peaceful atmosphere in Nigeria.
Absolutely.
Because there's no tension. Just like waking up one day and then you see super nations pounding your country, like what was witnessed in Iran. Okay, looking at the existential threat of Iran building a nuclear program and the US and of course Israel against that fact. And of course, all of these has necessitated a war. We call it a war on Iran. And reports have it that over 1,000 targets have been hit already in this respect. And of course, could this be coming towards, most especially when Iran has not even rested on its oars, but still finding a way to attack the U.S. bases in Gulf countries like Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and what could be this existential threat mean? Well, all of this basically is trending, and of course, how to tackle it headlong. The U.S. and Israel having a big fight on Iran is another big challenge. But before I get back to the network centers at Abuja and of course Lagos, let's get a bite on that.
You know, like they always say, US is a world power. No matter what you try to do, you cannot fight that country. Take it or leave it. Especially when you now have another country like Israel in collaboration with the US. So whatever you are building, whatever nuclear might you're building, once these two guys mean you, they meant you. And we know the person of Donald Trump. He's not a joker. He said they were going to get down Khamenei, and they did that. So it was even really surprising that yesterday we now saw some of our guys, or rather some of our people in Lagos, the Shiite, whatever in Lagos, they were all, protesting against the killing of Khamenei. I was like, what is this? How do you guys do all of this? Like, you just wake up in the morning and you say, you're protesting against things that you're not supposed to protest against when we have our own pressing issues. So why protest? So like I said, the US and Israel, then when you now add country like what is it called to it, Putin's country, Russia, I mean, you're good to go. So I'm pretty sure what they are really doing, some persons will not agree with what they are doing, that they want to control the world, but they are world powers. You can't take that away from them. So who gave Iran the right to now start piling up nuclear weapon. What do they want to use the nuclear weapon to do? That's the first question we'll ask ourselves.
Well, the big question again, who gave Iran the right?
Exactly.
Well, they're going to be coming on that, and that's why they are exactly, going against Israel and, of course, the U.S. Who's going to win in all of this fight?
Well, we always know.
I know.
Well, the big man in the middle, maybe, but it seems Donald Trump.
Who is the big man in the middle?
I don't know if you ask me, but it seems Donald J. Trump is not backing down anytime soon because latest feelers we are getting is him saying the whatever that is going on is still going to persist for a couple of days. Yeah. Some persons say 5 days. We do not know how long this would actually, skyrocket, but a lot of persons are fearing as regards escalating all of this ones going on right now. There are those who are saying, are we expecting or should we be expecting World War III moving forward? That's a big one.
That was on my mind.
And interestingly, the last time this thing happened was in 2003, and coming down to 2026, one of the main objectives of this war or whatever is going on right now, as you would put it, between America, Iran, and of course Israel, Donald J. Trump did state that he is trying to change the regime right there in Iran. Take you back to the fact that the supreme leader who got killed, and I also did hear that his wife and some other, notable personalities around him got killed over the weekend, has been in power, was in power for over 3 decades. And, this has sparked a lot of reactions right there. Interestingly, when the news broke out that he was killed, we had mixed reactions. Some persons were glad, while some persons were crying. I don't know if you guys saw the video.
Yeah, talking about Ali Khamenei.
Yes. I don't know if you saw the video of the news presenter who was reeling out the news and then he was crying. There are some persons who would say he was just pretending, and there are those who would say that, they perhaps that's like the state of what is going on. But I really want to talk about how this affects us here in Nigeria. Because, feelers have it that we might also be impacted if this actually elongates for the certain period of time. How are we going to be impacted? Higher oil prices, higher fuel prices. That's like paying for consumers, inflation, cost of living, and so on. I don't know if Nigerians are ready to buy fuel for 1,000 naira per liter.
Talking about
we
that,
might actually
Dangote refinery. No, it's not that fear. Dangote refinery yesterday released a statement already that fuel is hitting 1,000 naira and above any moment.
I think he has also added 100 naira to it already.
So in the next couple of days, you that have a fleet of cars,
you might actually have
I think sometimes some things are better left alone.
I take it one step at a time.
Yes, we've got a lot on our table.
A lot indeed.
Oh, well, let's bring this to you. Joseph Kadiri of our Abuja Network Center. Good morning.
A very good morning to you, Philip.
And of course, good morning to Messalina from our Lagos Network Center. I can see you. Oh, Patricia,
Thank you all for, of course, having us on this discussion belt. Well, in Abuja here, the issue of the war ongoing in Iraq, in Iran, is something that we have looked at it with the eyes, laser eyes, economic implication, in the near future. As we speak now, yes, Iran may not be that big country, so to speak, but it has a channel through which countries around there, one of the big economy in the world, China, gets its product from that route. But as we speak, that those for now are on suspension because you really cannot see the movement of ship passing through that war zone. What would that lead to? Of course, there will be inflation, the demand for goods will increase, and of course this will take situation. And then when you look at the China economy, most of its supply comes through from that Iran route. But as we speak, it's not going to be possible, and which means that about 80–90% of the firm in China, manufacturing industry in China, will not get supply for their raw materials, and at the same time, they cannot, export finished goods. So you see, in the long run, the global economy will be suffering from the war in Iran. This happened some years back when, of course, Russia, was pounding Ukraine. In no distant time, we saw the increase in the prices of loaves of bread. And why was that? Because Ukraine is the hub for the production of wheat. And because it is not in good shape, not in good condition, the atmosphere is not friendly for, the cultivation of land, for the plantation of wheat. What did we see? Across the globe, there was increase in the prices of wheat, and that reflected in the finished product, which is the bread. And so the same thing we may be seeing with what is going on now in Iran. Of course, there are predictions that price of crude oil is shooting up to $80 per barrel and even beyond. And when that happens, the finished product, which is the refined product, the PMS, the diesel, the AGO, of course, kerosene and jet A1, all products of crude.
Thank you.
And that was.
Thank you, Joseph Kaduri. Well, I just have to cut in quickly, but big thanks for giving us that very massive, development from China. And of course, you look at the need to find a way to tackle the effects of this war. We call it a war, and just like Arno said, this could be a build-up to, we don't pray for that anyways. This could be a build-up to the Third World War. Well, let's get to you, Patricia. Good morning. You look ravish. Oh, did I say ravishing? Good morning, Patricia. Oh, I believe we are having a network issue as much as we're able to get.
Good morning, Philip.
Good morning, Patricia.
You look very handsome this morning. And I'm going to say Happy New Month to you guys. And then to Lawrence, a day in advance.
Thank you. Do you want to make a comment on what has been said so far as regards the Israel and U.S. war on Iran?
Thank you for having me this morning. So I said I was going to say Happy New Month and plan in a conversation. Some people say Donald Trump is doing this just because of the oil of Iran. You tell I can't put my hands together on why this is being done. Other people say he is fighting this war, if we could call it war, because he wants to break the wings of China. We all know China is actually for some recent years now getting stronger in the economy of the world. So some people are saying Donald Trump is doing all this because he wants to break the wings of the China country. But that Abuja to us. Here we're talking actually a lot going on in Nigeria. So let's focus on Nigeria from our Lagos Network studio. Talking on the presidential election, I make moves state from February to January. What will this be on the effect of the general elections? Effective voters coming out at their mindset that they're going to be voting in February, and now it is moved to January. All of these votes, they're out, or will it affect the preparation from INEC? These are the things where later today, and we have some take analysis to and Philip.
Okay, thank you, Patricia. We sincerely apologize for the distortions due to poor connectivity from the Lagos Network Center. Well, we're also going to be looking at democracy and political rivalry here from the Network Center, where we take our time to, x-ray and examine possibly, if we say there is democratic regression in Nigeria. And just as Abraham, said, in terms of Abraham Lincoln said, as regards a simple definition of democracy, where you say it's a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. But when we begin to see, political rivalry, instead of contributing, bringing about a healthy competition to improve on democracy, rather is doing the otherwise, then it becomes an issue. Something really happened in Edo State last week, and of course the ADC, where there were gun attacks, on the members, and of course even why the meeting was shifted to the former governor of Edo State in the person of Odige Oyegun, Chief Odige Oyegun. Again, they came to the house, the residence, and also did some dastardly acts. And all of this is also creeping into how healthy the 2027 election is going to be. Well, before we take a break on that, let's have your say on this, Arno, in a minute.
Right, so I'm just going to say that anytime I hear glitches or network issue, I just fall back to INEC and the whole razzmatazz that went on with the electronic transmission of results in real time. Interestingly, over the weekend, we had the INEC boss come out to talk about so many things as regards the 2027 general election. And one of the things he made mention is the fact that Nigerians should not have their hopes all too high, because we shouldn't expect a perfect election come 2027. So perhaps, maybe that's why we're seeing all of the shenanigans that have been playing out, since the build up to the 2027 general election. That's why we're seeing it all around us. But it speaks a lot about political intimidation. The opposition parties in Nigeria, do they even have a fair playing ground, an easy playing ground for them to thrive? Just yesterday, one of the prominent minister, I would say, the minister of the FCT, did his usual media chat, and where he said
under the tree,
right, that in Nigeria at the moment we only have just one opposition party, and he said it's just the PDP and the APC. So what does that tell you? Now, mind you, we have one that has been vocal for a certain period of time since the, to the build-up of the 2027 general election, that's the ADC, but himself is not even seeing that as a party, and that rings a bell, and that sparks so many minutes. Yeah. I also feel that as we get to move closer to everything, we're going to see more of this, but we hope that it doesn't skyrocket to violence come 2027.
Exactly. We hope it doesn't escalate.
Yeah.
Let's get your few words,
talking
about
that, what transpired in our great state some days ago. First up, thumbs up to the DSS, because as at yesterday, they said they've arrested the persons involved in that situation last week. So thumbs up to the DSS. I always say, if our security agencies are ready to work in this country, definitely they will work, unless they don't just want to work. I have some guys there that works there, so we chat, we talk about things. The guys have been apprehended, but another thing is, hope you did not apprehend the wrong person.
And apart from that, how do you prosecute it?
Exactly.
It's not just to apprehend.
Thank you. That's the
I want to see the finishing of the process.
So for me, I think it's high time we grew beyond this politics of rivalry. If a party that have a manifesto, or you have what you want to do for the people, you shouldn't be fighting and carrying guns and killing. Because at the end of the day, if you finish killing the people, who do you govern?
Well, but to a point, a political rivalry could be seen as healthy.
No, it's not healthy.
But when it goes beyond,
it's not healthy. Political rivalry where the lives of the people are safe is healthy. But when the lives of the people becomes somehow, it's
exactly what I'm talking
healthy.
about.
So that is where the problem lies. Now, persons were attacked. A lot of persons were injured. The DJ who went to play, they stole his amp. When I was watching that video, I was laughing. It spiked a kind of humor, but it's not humorous. How would you go there? What does the DJ have to do with it? He was paid to come and to do the event. Leave DJ. That is
exactly. When we begin to see political rivalry being unhealthy to the point where lives are unsafe, then we begin to ask the question, do we have the right leadership, or do we have the right ideology, or are the politicians doing the right thing? Talking about the need for us to have a plurality, in focus, most especially where everyone needs to, bring his own beat or a beat, to the table. And basically, it shouldn't be a one-party system.
Exactly.
But at least everyone should participate, and then we get a very healthy competition. But what are we getting? We just have close by 2027 election, and of course, with the timetable being changed. It's not
here anymore.
No. With the timetable being changed, we have the presidential election coming up in January 16th.
In less than 9 months.
And then campaigning starting
Campaign start definitely maybe by June or July.
August to
Okay, August, you see.
Well, do we say big thanks to the 2026 Amendment Act?
I don't know, Philip.
Well, we'll take a short break, and after which we're looking at the pages of the newspaper. Don't you go away.
This is Aqua Game, a popular game in Africa played by our ancestors to entertain themselves after each day of farming. It is also relevant in our coronation in Africa. It is a sport and indeed very interesting, as every seed had a role in the game.
Of course, I guess you're already salivating about what stories we're bringing on the pages of the newspaper today. And let's see what paper will be hitting the screen first so that we can analyze what we've got. We've got the Nigerian Tribune, and of course,
Nigerian importers may pay more as Middle East crisis affects shipping. That's on the major headline there. Exactly what we were talking about a few minutes ago. So this is one of the issues that comes up with situations like this. And we also have the National Police Council approves Disu's appointment as substantive IGP. You know, he's been on an acting capacity, but the National Police Council have approved his appointment as the IGP. We also have Dangote target steel power port as new industry push. Dangote target steel power ports in new industry push. Above the man's head, count stop Ondo APC court rather stop Ondo APC State Congress over disappointed word LG Congress that was conducted. So you grab a copy of the Nigerian Tribune and see through what they have on the pages of the Tribune. Anu, we'll have something from you.
Away from the Nigerian Tribune, let's move over to another major national daily this morning, if we could have that on. The Nation newspaper, leading with executive order on remittances, Edu panel swings into action, and then there's a sub-rider there. Well, other interesting headlines this morning on the Nation newspaper. It says Wike accuses Atiku Amechi Obi of playing to the gallery. Now, interesting headline coming from the stuff that actually did happen in Abuja, the media chat that happened in Abuja yesterday with the Minister of the FCT and other interesting journalists. Well, pick up a copy of the Nation newspaper and stay abreast.
Let's quickly go to the Guardian newspaper and let's see what we have on the Guardian newspaper. It talks about drug shortage. Funding cuts put 100 million Nigerians into the gains at risk on the Guardian newspaper. And let's go over to the headlines on the top of the front page. NNPCL loses power to collect 30% PSCs as EO9 takes off. And of course, you get that on page 4. And of course, we have this to say services disrupted as UCH unions begin 5-day strike over power rationing. That's basically it. The challenges we are having epileptic power supply and rationing is taking effect. well, it's quite a huge cry. We have this. It says, El-Rufai's family replies ICPC on wiretapping secret documents. You get that on page 6. And let's go over to the Middle East. War sends crude higher, fears fresh inflation risk in Nigeria.
I said that earlier. No, economically, this is what you will see. According to the principle of economics, this is what definitely happens. Because, you know, one, it's going to be a gain and a loss, actually. What's the gain? The prices of crude will go higher in the international market. Don't forget, our benchmark for 2026 was $75 per barrel. As of yesterday, it has risen to about $86 per barrel. So the federal government will make more money. But we, you and I, will be affected in terms of the price of the end product, which is PMS.
That's the business chief talking.
So in terms of PMS and GDP and all that.
All right, well, let's go on with the next on the cover page. It says, Nigeria's net reserves rise by 772% in 2 years to $34.8 billion. And of course, we have chaos lingers as cashless toll enforcement leaves airport road users stranded. Well, Fintiri formally joins APC, declares self-party leader.
Always the problem, you know.
Stories won't end.
Never end.
On any stories. And you want to make a comment on that,
Of course, but let's not also forget, some time ago, even the president did state that governors in the APC parties are the leaders of the party in that state. I remember this actually happened when we had the saga between the River State governor and the minister of the FCT, him calling himself the 001, and some person were now asking if Nyesom Wike was now the 002 of River State. So apparently, Adamu Fintiri is not, you know, tailing in the wrong direction. It's actually in the right direction with him coming out to state that out clearly. Now let's move over to another.
Well, that's much we can take on today's newspapers. Big thanks for making our time to be part of this. We'll look into the discussion from the Mini Network Center, where we're going to be looking at democracy and political rivalry, examining political or democratic regression in Nigeria. We will be having political analysts, you know, across parties to discuss this. To stay.
Top on the list of the initiates was the eldest son of the Esama of Benin and former governor of Edo State, Chief Lucky Nosakare Igbenedion. 11 of his siblings, namely Bright Ayamekwe Igbenedion, Honorable Charles Osenwige Igbenedion, Peter Osawari Igbenedion, Dr. Fred Osanwi Igbenedion, Barrister Mike Osarene Igbenedion, Efosa Douglas Igbenedion, Ukponwa Enes Igbenedion, Osawe Igbenedion, Edosa Igbenedion, Dr. Daniel Omorige Igbenedion, Agbon Steve Igbenedion, as well as the Executive Director Operations, ITV and Radio, Chief Elder Ugbeide Nwonse.
Thank you.
Well, from 1999 till date, we've had an uninterrupted democratic rule. And of course, the need for us to deepen democracy has been all of this conversation, you know, across the country and even beyond. And how do we get it right? Well, they say democracy brings about competition. But how healthy is the competition that we are having just now in Nigeria, most especially as we are having the elections sitting closely, and the 2027 election that has been giving a lot of people big headache. Well, joining me to discuss this in the studio with me, I have the former SSA to the governor of Edo State and a one-time chieftain of the PDP, but now crossed over to becoming the spokesperson of the ADC. I don't know if you mind over that introduction.
Yeah, no, at all. I'm fine. You've given a brief.
Yes, because some would say you left PDP for ADC. Because you are a cross-carpenter.
Because the problems are still there. We've still not seen the solutions.
Is it a structural problem?
So we'll continue to look for solutions until we find it.
Is it a structural problem?
It's both structural, substantial,
on all,
psychological, social, political, economic, and everything.
Before I pass a question to you, thank you very much. Yes. You're welcome. Before I pass a question to you, let's quickly go over to Texas, Houston particularly, in the United States, where we have Ahmed Mamadou. I apologize for disturbing your sleep once more. Good morning, Ahmed.
Good morning, Philip, and gentlemen in the studio, as well as viewers watching us from thank you for inviting me.
And let me say Happy New Month to you.
Indeed, Happy New Month to you too.
Thank you.
What will this month bring? Well, we hope that it's going to be a month of marching forward.
Yes.
But again, what the ADC experienced, you know, last week in Edo State, I don't know if that would mean a month of marching forward, because we look at the need for us to make political rivalry healthy, competitions in the political stream healthy. But with what is developing, there are a lot of questions arising from the fact that, is it that this happened as a result of a self-inflicted, you know, development by the party? Because we understand then when the governor of Edo State one time said that for the former presidential candidate of the LP to come over to Edo State, you know, he should seek his clearance as the chief security officer. But again, that was placed on the marble, and again we experienced this. Could it be that the party, as others are having it, could it be that the party, the ADC, afflicted itself just to give some attention, you know, against the ruling party in the state?
Well, that would be thinking like the ruling party and thinking like what the ruling party thinks that they want to turn Nigeria into. Unfortunately for the ruling party, we now have a party that is serious-minded, a party of people who understand what democracy is and who understand the development trajectory in the world and what builds nations. And we don't intend to play in the same turf as they are playing. We will continue to adumbrate on political theories and practices that build nations. We'll continue to raise the profile of democracy. We'll continue to show by example, force of personal example, that we are dealing with a set of charlatans and nitwits and no-gooders who think that by skewing narratives and creating subterfuge around the irresponsible behavior that they have, that is the way to progress. That's not the way this country will progress. The reason why ADC was bettered is because ADC saw that democracy was being taken to the cliff edge. Now, the next step would have been catastrophic. Men of goodwill, people who by their own personal achievements could travel out of this country and live the rest of their life outside. Men who had no reason or have no reason to begin to stake their lives, to begin to receive this kind of insults from these deserters and these charlatans and criminals. They have staked their reputation, name, life, to ensure that democracy is shored up and saved for Nigeria. And then it has spread. The grassroots Nigeria are seeing it, and they are rushing into the party. And then people are coming up to attack that very noble trajectory that would help this country and save this country. And then after attacking us, they come out with those their irresponsible narratives. The party cannot self-inflict itself, because the party, as at that very moment that we were afflicted by these marauders, was just increasing in number from the Labour Party people whose trajectory is for democracy, and they have seen that the ADC is leading towards that direction. They came in here with the former governorship candidate of Labour Party in Edo State, Olumide Akpata, and then because of the centrality of Edo State, and because of the fact that we are very significant and critical to democratic decisions in this country, Peter Obi decided to show his presence. It doesn't go to every state like that. Decided to show his presence, to honor, because as you know, Obedient had a lot of followers in Edo State here. In fact, it's considered by some as the headquarters of the Obedient movement. So Peter Obi decided to come out, have solidarity visit with the Labour Party people who were coming in. All our leaders, Chief John Odige Oyegu was there, the former governor of Edo State, Osareme Subo, was there, first chief whip of the Nigerian Senate, Roland Owe, was there, and all other people were there.
Okay.
And we had finished from there and proceeded to John Odige Oyegu's house. And then shortly after, we started hearing through feeds from videos that we were getting.
Did you finish from there, or you quickly on intelligent gathering, you people quickly left there for the Oyegu's house?
If we left on intelligent tips, or we left on our own, by the time we concluded our program, we have finished, haven't we? Yes, so yes, we finished from there, and then we move on to John Odige Oyegu's house.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's look at this from the 2027 perspective. We are less than 1 year to the election with the new INEC timetable. Do you see this, what happened, what transpired in Edo last week, as a big threat to the forthcoming election? Because if opposition as ADC could be attacked in this manner in Edo, not in one local government in Edo, the state capital, and the residents of the former governor of the state, it sends a big message. Do you see this as a threat to 2027?
Well, just to add that he's not just the former governor of the state.
Yeah.
He was the first executive governor when the state was created. He's an octogenarian of over 86 years. He's the head of the policy and manifesto committee of the ADC nationally. Okay. He's a highly respected statesman all over the country. Okay. He was a former super permanent secretary. Boys could be instigated by what kind of minds was behind that, to go and shoot at the gate of that octogenarian and shoot at his house. And if not that the gate was solid enough, God knows what would have happened there. Now, the only way the ruling party can exonerate itself is to bring out the culprits. The only way they can give assurance
are you
to the voters.
Are you indicting the ruling party that they were the one who
They are indicted in two ways.
How?
One, the ruling party is the governor of the ruling party, is the chief security officer of the state. If he has failed in other ways, like failed, everybody knows the kidnapping going on in Edo State today. Everybody knows the robbery that's going on in Edo State today. If he has failed there totally, I should think that the only constituency he ever knew, which is politics, that he would have tried to ensure that in Edo State they say, okay, well, we have a politician as governor. He's protecting is providing security for the security class. He has also failed here woefully. It's a known failure in every department. Okay. If he is not able to produce those who shot at the house of the octogenarian,
but he is not a police officer. It's not his job to do the investigation.
It's his job to put pressure on the arms that do the investigation.
But yesterday, the power have been arrested by the DSS.
Yes, they want to see them. The power of the governor and the influence of the governor over a state is enormous. If it was ADC secretariat, or let us assume that it was Adams Oshomole's house that was attacked, or the house of any of their big chieftains, they are becoming very short of chieftains these days. Let us assume
you are alleged anyway.
Yes, Adams Oshomole's house that was attacked. You think we'll be having all this back and forth? By now, we'll be parading some people. Okay. So the point we are making is that if he fails in that responsibility, and that's in Edo State isn't a volatile state. We are gregarious people. We are agile and all that. But when it comes to politics, go and look at our history. Even those days, you used to have boys snatching ballots and so on. They just shoot into the air and then they snatch ballots. And then Obaseki came and stopped that culture. Now that culture is being reintroduced by the laxity responsibility of the government that we have in place. And it's being introduced in the motor parks, it's being introduced in the political arena, it's being introduced everywhere. Okay. In fact, I was with the publicity secretary of the APC about 2 days after that, and he was threatening me right on set that I will be arrested for saying
on another program
set on this matter.
Wow.
He was threatening me. And I told him, I said, the things you are saying belie your degree as a lawyer. Okay. You claim to be a lawyer. But I have civil society background. And we know our rights and we know when to use our powers. So this state must not be turned into, we are not charlatans in this state. Okay. It's unfortunate that charlatans are calling the shot in a lot of places, but we are not charlatans in this state.
Okay, let's get to Ahmed Momodu. You heard what Ojekere said, Chris Ojekere, most especially when we have issues surrounding what the governor of Edo State said earlier about getting security clearance. And again, fingers are pointing to your party, the All Progressives Congress. What do you have to say?
Let me first let me use this opportunity to thank you again for inviting me to share my views and to greet my leader there and ask him bon voyage from the PDP, and hopefully you have a better stay in the ADC or PDC or something. Anyway, my greetings to you, sir. So let us get to the matters of hand. You see, I know this culture of security that he's talking about and that he's mentioning here and there. I will have him cast his mind back into, he said if it was Adams Oshomole's house that was attacked, the response would have been different. During the reign of Godwin Obaseki, his former principal, Adams Oshomole's house was attacked. Several APC members' houses were attacked. There was even a bomb blast. It was so bad that the House of Assembly members that were meeting in a hotel were chased by hoodlums sponsored by Godwin Obaseki. So for you to now come and feign some kind of ignorance or surprise that the chickens that you let loose have come back home to roost, it befuddles everybody that is of any modicum of intelligence. Now let us demolish these things that you raised out one by one. You said the governor threatened Peter Obi. No, he did not threaten Peter Obi. He advised Peter Obi that it is in your best interest to advise us when you are coming to Edo State so that we can provide adequate security for you. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. In nationwide, Peter Obi is known as a very divisive element. He's very divisive. His politics is divisive. He comes into a place, he causes confusion, and then he leaves the whole place confused. Now, you said while you were being interviewed, he mentioned while he was being interviewed, that they had finished their meeting and they had gone. No, they had not finished their meeting. We will recall that it was in the news that after that meeting was when Pa Oyego